you're talking about making your own video game as a brand, the biggest con for sure is how are you going to drive users to it. So even on the largest platform today for brand experiences, Roblox, it's really hard for brands to drive players to their experience on Roblox versus, say, the popular games on Roblox. So a typical brand experience, brand game on Roblox will have hundreds of players, maybe 1,000 or two if they're really good at any given time in it. And then you go play a game like Brookhaven, it'll have anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million concurrent players. So it's very difficult for a brand to break through with a custom game. That's a real con. If you look at integrating a brand into a game, this is a difficult proposition for developers to want to engage with. It has to make tremendous sense for the game narrative and the player experience. When it does work, it can be magical. And there are sports games are a great example of where a brand can be integrated in and enhance the player experience, and it makes a lot of sense for everyone. So scripting a brand into a sports game where there may already be a sponsor in the real world can enhance that gameplay experience and is a positive. But I will say it can take months or years to negotiate those deals, involves a lot of legal interaction, and comes with risks if it's not done well, that the brand gets a lot of blowback. So it's a real, it's got a lot of upside, but it's also got a lot of downside to it. When it comes to in-game billboards, and there's a lot of hype around that right now, I would say that it can be done well in certain genres of games, and a brand can make the experience look more realistic and in games that are trying to mirror real life, like sports games and simulation games. However, if the user's seeing the same brand over and over again in the background, and it's hard not to because there's not enough volume of brands out there to fill all the inventory, it can be a little tiresome for the end consumer. And then ultimately, the question still, I think the big question and the possible negative for a background billboard is, what's the value of that billboard? Do people, once they've seen it a couple times, have they seen it enough? And are they even paying attention to it? So I think it's an interesting space. It's got potential to scale, but it may be on the lower side of engagement and awareness and those types of items. Then ultimately, you've got what I like to call value exchange advertising, and that seems to me to be where the best opportunity for brands exists today and has for a couple decades, which is rewarding the player with something they really thirst, they really want, in a way that is accretive and positive to their gameplay experience, which tends to yield outsized results from a player's feelings about the brand. So every study I've ever done, and I've done a lot of them with brands that are rewarding players through engagement. That could be engagement of a video, it could be engagement of a survey, something that gets them a reward at the end of it. The brands tend to have outsized results around favorability and purchase intent.